in high definition. This is News Channel 5 today in St. Louis.
Later today, a new safety net initiative is being launched in an effort to lower the dropout rate at 4 St. Louis City high schools.
It's a community approach led by North St. Louis's Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club and a veteran St. Louis broadcaster. Mike Garrity reports. Good morning, Mike.
Well, good morning. Veteran broadcaster Bill Wilkerson and Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club founder Martin Matthews are putting their names on the line. They've been working to put together a, quote, safety net of community resources for St. Louis's Beaumont, Roosevelt, Sumner, and Vashon high schools. Those 4 schools have the highest dropout numbers in the St. Louis public school system. So the pair has decided to amplify an approach that's shown success at the Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club over the past 50 years. Basically, as young people are observed struggling, they are referred to a community resource director, are given counseling, and then are paired with either services or organizations in the St. Louis area where it's thought they can best be given structure and a system of support. So now each city school has been assigned a community resource director to work with the school's principal. As students are seen having problems, they're linked up with a growing number of community resources.
And we're working to give a support system to each one of our kids who are having trouble. And we find that the trouble lies with 3 things that a kid is trouble with. That means that the home, the community, and the schools. And if you can rectify those 3 things, there's nowhere kids are going to miss succeeding.
Now, so far, the effort has tapped churches, local healthcare providers, counselors, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and social service organizations, all to help struggling youth and provide them with that so-called safety net. We'll learn much more about this initiative early this afternoon when a press conference is being held with names like pro sports greats Ozzie Smith and Isaac Bruce slated to attend. Art, back to you.
In high definition, this is News Channel 5 today in St. Louis.
And the new anti-dropout initiative is being launched today at 4 St. Louis public schools.
And as Mike Garrity tells us, 2 well-known St. Louisans are putting their names behind what they are calling a community safety net approach. Mike?
Well, that's right. Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club founder Martin Matthews and veteran broadcaster Bill Wilkerson have been working on this project for a year now. They've been putting together a network of community resources for St. Louis's Beaumont, Roosevelt, Sumner, and Vashon high schools. Those schools have the highest dropout numbers in the St. Louis City public school system. The pair has basically broadened an approach that's shown success at the Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club. Here's how it works. As young people are observed struggling, they're referred to a community resource director. They're given counseling, and then they're matched with either services or organizations in the St. Louis area where it's thought they can best be given structure and a system of support. So now each of the 4 high schools I mentioned has been assigned a community resource director to work with that school's principal. As students are seen having problems, they're linked up with a growing number of community resources, something that Martin Matthews says used to happen more naturally in the St. Louis community.
That's where we find most kids there, their parents is dysfunctional in the house. That's where they'll start, right in their home. So therefore, and many years ago, you had a support system in the community. Somehow or another, it faded. So that's what we want to put back in, the support system for that kid where he'll know he can't fail.
So far, the new effort has tapped churches, local healthcare providers, counselors, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and social service organizations to help struggling youth and provide them with that so-called safety net. We'll learn much more about this initiative early this afternoon when a press conference is scheduled. Art, back to you.
In high definition, this is News Channel 5 today in St. Louis.
Scott, dropout prevention is a challenge throughout Missouri's public school system, especially Kansas City, which has a 28% dropout rate, and St. Louis, where officials say the rate is 21%. Now, later today, the Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club will unveil a new dropout prevention program aimed at 4 city high schools, Beaumont, Roosevelt, Sumner, and Vashon. The principal of Vashon High School, Barbara Sharp, and Roosevelt High School, Terry Houston, are here with us this morning to talk about what they're doing to keep kids in the classroom. Welcome, first of all. Let me ask you to each state, what's the dropout rate at your school right now?
It's about 25%. And the same thing, it's about the same thing for Vashon as well.
Okay, that's pretty high. What kinds of things are you looking at? We'll start with you, Barbara, to try and keep kids focused. I know that's not easy.
Oh, certainly, but we have begun to create some major initiatives within the school and certainly within the district. The district recently approved the hiring of an attendance monitor, and that individual works very closely with our young people, helping to monitor and assess our students' attendance. Additionally, we're looking at other programs. We have a pyramid of intervention, different programs and initiatives we're working on to make sure that we are communicating with our parents and certainly communicating with our students.
Okay. And Terry, let me ask you in particular, you're dealing with a large immigrant population. It's very diverse over at Roosevelt. It's a big school. What kinds of things are you having to put into play?
Well, in addition to what the shop and Vashon is doing, we're trying to make school fun for the kids. We are always in constant collaboration with the kids. We have counselors calling home, we have administrators calling home, and we're always trying to get the parents involved. Okay,
this new program, the Safety Net, that Matthews Dickey is putting together with an array of stars this afternoon. They're going to match schools and kids with community sources and services. What's that going to mean for Vashon? What's that going to mean for Roosevelt?
Well, for Vashon, we have been very fortunate in working through with Matthew Dickey's. We have an opportunity to have partnerships, internships, certain mentoring experiences for our young people, the connection with faith-based organizations, and just a variety of different supports that have been provided to the school. Mr. Matthews,
let me just stop you there. Terry, how's this going to help you?
It's going to help us from the standpoint of making sure that the kids are involved, having mentors that's going to be in constant contact with the kids as well, and giving kids incentives to make sure that they want to come to school. And the tracking will start really in about the 6th grade.
And, and everybody says it needs to start early.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish we had much more time to devote to this. We'll come back to it later today on News Channel 5 when we cover that story. And we will be right back.
In high definition, this is Fox 2 News in the Morning.
All right, it's 8 o'clock on the nose. 8:11 on the clock. You know these names: Ozzie Smith, Isaac Bruce, Tony Dungy.
Heard of those guys?
Yeah, those big sports names in town today for a huge event.
And what is this huge event? Well, they are all participating in a very special groundbreaking. This event is aimed at keeping kids in school. And joining us right now is Bill Wilkerson from the Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. Of course, you've heard
Everybody
him for years.
knows Bill. Yeah.
Bill's been around.
How are you,
and
Bill?
we thank you for coming in.
Good morning. Good morning. And this is my first visit to your new digs. This is beautiful.
What do you think?
You like it, huh?
Oh, yeah, first class, absolutely.
We did it just for you, Bill.
Yeah, we did. We knew you were coming.
Obviously, you have dug into your Rolodex from your days in sports way back in that. You got some big names coming here.
Yes, we do, and for a tremendously great reason. All three of them are here as we're both celebrating an anniversary. And also, this is a coming out party because almost a year ago today, we began putting together our Reach Out St. Louis program to stem the high dropout rate in St. Louis schools. And we're there now, and we want to bring our partners up to date on what's going on and let the public in on it.
That's cool.
How difficult is it? I would say it's not difficult at all. I mean, because when they hear Matthews Dickey, they're like, hey, no problem, Bill. When do you want us? What time? How long? Right?
Well, it was easier because of Bob Costas, because Bob, of course, is a personal friend and a friend of the club. So when I saw Bob interviewing Tony Dungy during playoff week last week, and Tony Dungy said, Bob, if I retired, I don't know if I will, but if I retire, what I want to do is come back to Indianapolis and do something about this high dropout rate. And I said, whoa, I picked up the phone, speed dialed Bob, and said, Bob, I need Tony Dungy.
I saw that interview, and that's what struck a chord with me as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk specifically about the kids that you see, perhaps in or around Matthews Dickey. How do you identify them, and then how do you target them to say, we're going to turn you around?
Well, it's difficult to identify potential dropouts, but we have a system that does it. And here's the way it works. Here's what the research says. If in the 6th grade a child is failing in math and reading and is absent more than 10% of the enrollment days, that child has a 40% chance of becoming a dropout. In the 9th grade, if those 2 red flags exist, that child has a 75% chance of becoming a dropout. So we have a way of identifying them before they become dropouts, and there is some tremendous software called the Dropout Early Warning System, which we are hopeful of putting into place in the St. Louis public school system.
Wow.
So you identify them, then how do you get them? How do you get their minds?
That's where the Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club comes in. What we've done over the past year is we've brought together university partners. We have business partners, we have church partners, we have law enforcement partners, and what we have is a hands-on intervention. We have the United Way agency. So once we identify the reason why the child is likely to drop out, then we move in, surround them with all of the community resources, and we take care of it.
And I have a feeling Ozzie Smith, Isaac Bruce, and Tony Dungy might have a bit of an influence on some of them. So that would be a great thing.
Well, they have a tremendous influence, and this is the reason why the sports people are there, not for the publicity, but 67% of all NFL football players are African American, 76% of all NBA players are African American. So you see, those 2 leagues have a vested interest in what we're doing because 50% of minorities drop out. So eventually your talent pool is going to disappear if you don't do something about it right now.
Wow, what a program. And it's all happening today,
It's happening today at 12:30. It's going to be a tremendous aftening.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Nice to see you. Come back anytime.
Okay, you're not going to move again, are you?
No, we're not. We're
You never know.
No, we'll be here for another 50 years. We're good. Thank you, Bill Wilkerson. It's 8:15.
In high definition, this is Fox 2 News in the Morning.
Some big-name sports celebrities are coming to the Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club this midday.
Yeah, they're there to help kick off a new program to prevent school dropouts. We have Fox 2's Benita Cornute joining us live from the event with more. Good morning to you, Benita.
Well, good morning. It hasn't actually started, but behind me you hear the Roosevelt High School band. They're gearing up. They're going to kick this thing off along with these sports celebrities. They're in town basically to sort of get the ball rolling on this project, which is intended to keep kids in school. The dropout rate here in the St. Louis City Public School District is very high throughout the metropolitan area, and these celebrities want to do something about it. They include Baseball Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, football great Isaac Bruce, and NFL Super Bowl champion coach Tony Dungy. They'll all be here to talk about Reach Out St. Louis. It's an attempt to get people involved, to keep these kids in school. The dropout rate, I'm told, is in the high 30%. That's not good when there are so many issues that our community needs to have addressed, and these children, these young people need to be prepared to handle those situations. So we're going to tell you more about it once everything gets rolling. We'll have a full story for you tonight on Fox 2 News. Back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Benita.
News 11 starts now.
And some big-name sports celebrities are coming to the Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. Fox 2's Benita Cornute joins us live to explain how they're trying to keep kids in school. Bonita?
Well, I tell you what, right now, what you hear behind me is the Roosevelt High School band. They're here to welcome all of the folks who will be coming over here for this program, the kickoff of the program. It's called Reach Out St. Louis. It's intended to reduce the dropout rate in the metropolitan area. Right now, it is extremely high. There are a number of young people who just don't feel challenged or motivated to stay in school. Some of them may be so far behind, they are embarrassed, and it's just easier to stay at home. Well, that's not going to go on, according to these big-name celebrities, and they include Baseball Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, NFL great Isaac Bruce, and NFL Super Bowl champion coach Tony Dungy. Now, you heard Tony talk about retiring, wanting to help young people, and one of the things he will do is come into St. Louis today to help kick off this program. The dropout rate is extremely high. I'm told that it's over 25%, and that's really not good when you consider these young people are who we expect to be the leaders of the future. And with this program, Reach Out St. Louis, hopefully they'll be motivated to stay in school. We're going to bring you a package, a longer story, later on tonight in North St. Louis. I'm Bonita Cornute. Back to you.
In high definition, This is Fox 2 News at 5.
It's often called the silent epidemic. Students who abandon the classroom rarely find success as adults. So some big-name celebrities are getting behind a dropout prevention program that kicked off today at Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. Fox 2's Bonita Cornute was there for the unveiling of the winning team.
Some of these kids may not graduate high school. To prevent that, these people are going to get behind them. Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club is teaming up with corporate leaders, law enforcement, and some of the kings of pro sports to give them incentives to stay in school. It's called Reach Out St. Louis. Super Bowl champion coach Tony Dungy is behind it.
I thought when I first started on this project that it would be talking to teenagers, but it's really, I think, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds and really getting them to see themselves in the future.
Cardinal Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith is also there to catch them before they fall. At the program, however, laryngitis kept him from speaking, but he, like NFL superstar Isaac Bruce, say they have what it takes to make a difference.
So we could teach discipline because we know discipline, and you know, from things that we've done in life, we pretty much know what works and what doesn't work.
According to St. Louis School Superintendent Kelvin Adams, only 54% of the 9th graders in the district graduate high school.
That these students need help. Single-parent home, discipline issues, other family members who have dropped out.
Judge E. Richard Weber, U.S. District Court, has sentenced many young men who exchange education for crime.
I know that a very high percent of those young men who appear before me for sentencing because of a lack of education.
With Reach Out St. Louis on the ball, the numbers will change.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
Bonita Cornute, Fox 2 News.
The project includes tracking at-risk students, tutoring, and community partnerships.
In high definition, this is News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
The two of the more distinguished football figures of the last decade were in St. Louis today, but they were not here to talk about the game. Here's our Frank Cusimano.
The stars were out at Matthews Dickey. From left to right, that's the Wizard, the Reverend Tony Dungy, and Martin Matthews. They were there because of some horrible statistics.